Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got ourselves a bunch more games from Group B in Masters Coliseum. REYNOR, representing Basilisk Gaming in the bottom right side. He's going up against Hero. That's right, Dragon Kaiser Gaming's Hero, who's been looking like he's got a bit of his zest back. A bit of his... Well, that's actually kind of funny to say a Protoss player has zest, right? Because zest is one of the most famous trend-setting Protoss players of all time, but I feel like Hero's had a bit of his zest back recently. I think he's been doing pretty good, and... He never stopped playing great StarCraft, but he just started playing it a little bit more reliably, I would say. Now look at that. He didn't pylon block. REYNOR's going to go for the pool first when he sees the probe coming in, and then he doubles back and he gets the hatchery on location. So good start for REYNOR. This is, in my mind, it's always better to do this opening than to have the hatchery over at the third base. And he must have studied Hero and realized that Hero will not build the pylon when he comes in to check the main base. So good on him. Gateway gas behind it here for Hero. Hero's going to bring a probe down, go for that Nexus. Very standard openings here on Gressman. It's a best of 3, and this is a group stage. So don't worry, this is not an elimination match. We are still in the group stage. It's a several week-long tournament, Masters Coliseum, with about 45,000 USD worth of prize pool. Obviously, the prize pool is in RMB, Chinese currency. But it translates to about that much. Anyways, it's a round robin, 6 people in a group, so they all play 5 best of 3s. Top 3 in the group go out. This group also has a bunch of other very high-ranked players. So Group A may have been the group of death with like Serral and MaxPax and Maru in it. But this group also has a bunch of other big dogs that you'll be seeing over the next few days. 6 lings, man. It's kind of crazy he committed to 6 lings even after having the pool scouted. Let's see what he can force. I mean, I guess he's going to force a second gateway maybe. So Zealot comes out, Adept gets chronoed, Warp Gate's there. Hero doesn't have 150 minerals. He queues up another probe, which means he can't afford it. He's just going to defend with the Zealot. As long as he doesn't get the Zealot fully surrounded. And REYNOR says, no, not worth losing the lings because that Adept's almost out. So he's just going to go like that. Goes after the probe, but that means the Adept can deal with that. These 2 lings go in the main. Oh, one of them is leading the Zealot on a little merry chase down here. Notice this Zergling is luring the Zealot away while this Zergling in the main is harassing REYNOR, showing that multitasking that he's so famous for. I love it. Look at this multitasking, man. Looks like, okay, the Zealot finally cleaned up that one. The Adept will clean this up, but this keeps Hero's vision at home for a very long time. And that's good because REYNOR has delayed his ling speed. Because he's gone pool first, like, yeah, he's going to get 3 queens out very early, but his only now about to get to 100 gas. Behind this, a Stargate comes up for Hero right now. REYNOR has had some struggles with PvZ recently. I know against like Classic, for instance. I was planning a video on why Classic had the best PvZ. I never got around to actually recording it because there was just so much other stuff going on in the community, and I feel like we haven't seen as much from Classic since Gamers 8, but it's funny, a lot of players said they weren't impressed when I asked them about Classic. They're like, he's pretty good at this or this, but you know, Hero's better, or MaxPax is better. They all had stuff like that to say. REYNOR was the only one who said he actually thought Classic is like the best Protoss. So I think that tells us that REYNOR's not as afraid of someone like Hero, who he's historically had a pretty good handle on Hero. They have very fun chaotic games, but usually REYNOR just barely comes out on top. This double Adept are forcing a lot of units. I love all that ling harass and scouting. Like, REYNOR's very aware of what's been happening, and good drone surround as well. It's going to be 3 drones. If you can get a 4th, that'd be okay, but 3 drones is, I think that's acceptable losses for REYNOR as long as he can defend the Oracle. That's the big problem for him right now, in that he's only got 3 queens. Spore crawlers haven't started. The first Oracle's coming in. REYNOR. Uh-oh, REYNOR. Way too slow down here. Oh no, he's got to pull those drones right now. He's got to pull those drones. If he loses 3 or 4 drones, this is going to be really bad because he's already down 7 workers. He had to build a lot of Zerglings in the early game. And 2 workers go down. That could have been worse. Pretty good handling considering. But the fact that he's still not building spores, this is a dangerous opening for REYNOR, guys. It's a dangerous situation to be in. And I don't know what's going on with this opening, but Hero just seems to have managed the chaos so well. And I guess that speaks to Hero and his comfort with Zerglings being in his base in 2 places at once in the early game. He says, cool, yeah, this is my favorite sort of PvZ. Give me a bit of chaos. I don't know why. Hero always seems to come out on top in chaotic early games. I thought the one guy that he wouldn't come out on top of against would be REYNOR because of REYNOR's immense speed as a player. But Forge and Twilight goes down 4 minutes 50. 4 gases are mining. REYNOR needs to catch up on drones. He really needs to catch up on drones. He lost 8 workers this early game, but you got to realize he also had to build 12 Zerglings very early in the game and lost little bits of mining time as well. 5 queens are out up against 3 oracles. Normally you'd want to have 6 or 7 queens versus 3 oracles. Hero's going to come in with 2 more. And he's not going to dive there, is he? Oh, Hero's a mad dog. Hero's a mad dog. You're really going to go around the back? Okay, yeah. I was like, come on, Hero. That's crazy. There's no way his queens won't be ready in the main for you, so Hero wisely does back off. The thing is, Hero's so, you know, the man doesn't hedge his bets. You never know when he's going to go all in on black. You never know when he's just going to push his chips into the middle of the table. So it's that willingness to kind of dance on the edge of a bad decision and convince you that he's actually very capable of diving in when other players wouldn't. It draws more attention away from his opponents than, you know, you're playing against stats. You know those oracles are going to turn around and back off, so you immediately just look away, go back to macroing. But Hero is a bit more of a wild man. Stalker Adept is there. We've got the Robo Bay on the way. Good point, actually, from Twitch chat. I mean, just to bring it back to that classic comment, REYNOR struggles against turtle defensive players. He likes the action. He likes the movement, and Hero gives him that. Hero and REYNOR is one of the funnest matches because it's so much back and forth action. It's explosive. It's dynamic, and both of these guys love that style of play, whereas Classic just turtles up, and REYNOR definitely dislikes turtle games. He likes it to be back and forth in the middle of the map. Now, Hero's going double Robo Bay. Looks like a Blink Colossus opening. Oh, queens are ready. Oh, Hero screwed up. Hero loses an Oracle there. Great focus fire by REYNOR to take that out. Another Overlord does fly in and go down. Oracles try to loop back in. Yeah, this is a lot of players back away once you kill one of their Oracles like that for at least a little bit. But Hero goes right back in there and catches REYNOR off guard. REYNOR clearly wasn't expecting that. Loses 3 drones. Could have been 4 or 5 if Hero microed that a little bit better. Just slightly desynced the Oracle shots and does allow a few of those drones to get away there. REYNOR's got a layer up, +1 melee. Feels like REYNOR's tech is so late though, right? Roach speed's just starting. At least he'll be able to start +2 melee pretty quickly along with Baneling speed, so he's still going to have a Ravager Bane timing available, and he's got a good work account. The problem is, can he turn that into a big enough army at the right time? I'd normally say the pressure is Protoss adding Archons to their Colossus Immortal, or Storm, and getting a real Death Ball. That's how like Creator would play from here. But it's Hero. We know Hero's probably just going to try and kill him, right? That's how Hero usually plays PvZ. He's just going to hit you with like a couple of Colossus timing. And in that case, it's can you have +2 melee, Bane speed, and enough Roach Ravagerling Bane to surround the Protoss army. That being said, Hero blinks forward. One of the Stalkers goes down. Uh-oh, bit of a mistake there. He's going to lose a bunch of Stalkers. 3 Stalkers for a few Zerglings. Great trade for REYNOR. 4th base starts, but that's an 8-minute 4th. That's not a very quick 4th. This is the sort of 4th base you build, but it's just for transferring workers because these main mineral patches are about to mine out here. About 8 minutes 30 is when they tend to disappear. Stalkers are clearing a little bit of creep, which is cute, but where's the support for that? Remember, he's only got 2 Oracles. They don't have a lot of energy. Hero, you can't be affording to lose these Stalkers, mate. Oh god, those Oracles are dry. Oh, tries to go after the Ravager. Nice snipe for Hero. Does he get punished though? REYNOR's like, yeah, that was a silly move, mate. Gets a few of these Stalkers, but the Colossus are there. No way, he's not gonna push. This would be a very weird opportunistic push, but you know what? He sees the numbers are very even. Hero does not have a forward warp in point. To fully commit up this ramp would be madness. Yeah, Hero is mad. He is the Mad King right now. We're going to see if REYNOR can Jaime Lannister this stuff. I don't know if he's going to be able to. That is a pretty scary Protoss army. His Ravagers are still morphing. Remember, those Ravagers in that last patch got nerfed in their morph speed. Something we kind of don't talk about much, but we forget about. Ling Bane is here. Baneling speed is still 20 seconds away. +2 melee is still 40 seconds away. Is this the perfect timing, or is Hero getting ahead of himself? So far, it looks like it's going very well for Hero. Picking off drones on the north with that Colossus. Corrosive Bile trying to pepper across this army right now. You can see the drones starting to fall on that base. Ling Bane coming from behind. The stasis trap traps the Zerglings. The slow Banelings also getting stuck by a stasis trap. A few of the Banelings roll into the army, and Immortal does get focused down, but my lord, it looks like Hero here. +2 finishing after a lot of the fight is over. Stalkers rallying across the map. Hero, absolutely, I do not think he was planning to hit this timing attack, guys. He just sensed weakness. Talk about Star Sense. Talk about Killer Instinct. Hero realized that REYNOR just didn't quite have the numbers, and he was like, wait a second, you're so low on units, your Roach speed wasn't even done when we fought in the middle of the map. Hero realizes there's an opening, and he pounces on top. Alright guys, REYNOR had a rough start in that last game. He's now in the top left of Neo-Humanity, REYNOR's favorite map. You guys know REYNOR loves Neo-Humanity. To be fair, he doesn't like the turtle nature of this map. So we'll see how it goes, guys. Looks like TKL lagged out of the game, and they had to recover from replay. GG's. Did Hero skip scouting? Of course he did. When Hero's up a game, This man skips scouting. He says, you're down a game in a best of 3. There's no way you're going to risk 12 pulling. I'm just going to do the greediest possible opening. And look at that. Should be straight into mining that second gas. Actually, that second gas is surely late. He's only putting on it then. It's okay. It's okay. I think Hero could have optimized this build a little bit, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not a dark level opening by any means. We got a drone moving out towards the third base right now. Third hatchery does start up, leaving one worker on gas. So notice Reynor's doing this kind of ZVT style. He's not rushing the ling speed out. He's prioritizing minerals for drones and queens. Interestingly, his queens are mistimed. Why is the queen faster in the main than the natural? That speaks to a bit of an odd twist in his opening. He does start ling speed and a third queen there. Overlord starts up after that, and from there, non-stop drones. Pretty tight opening for Reynor. Chrono boosts going down on both next side. Hero's going to be playing a very defensive style up to 3 base. Now, it is interesting that Reynor's taking this base because we know that Reynor is addicted to this purple gas on this map. He's taken that so many times in the past. Hero's not even scouting with his adept. What the hell? He's literally just trying to deny scouting. He's going Void Ray. Okay, so if I see a Void Ray, first thing I'm thinking is he's going to take 4 gases, go and then a third base. Third base will go down 4 minutes 10. Second Stargate Fleet Beacon. He's going to go for the carrier into Blink opening. That's very popular. Classic made it popular. MC copied it for the Legends tournament over at Gamers 8 and destroyed Stefano with it because he just could not figure out how to deal with it. Stefano was a bit too indecisive. Obviously, that's not a tippity-top pro game, but it was still pretty damn high level, I would say. That being said, this is a very quick third base, so it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Looks like just a Void Ray to clear things up. And did Reynor actually see the timing of the third, by the way? Loses an Overlord, loses a Ling. He saw the timing. So that should make Reynor feel very safe. If you see a third go down that early, they can't have squeezed in gases, have squeezed in a Twilight Council or something like that. So they've built a Void Ray, especially once you see the Oracle coming out, that's going to be good. And notice there's no Spore Crawlers. He's just started one in the natural. And the reason is a Void Ray is not a fast harassment unit the way an Oracle is. And the Oracle has been delayed because the Void Ray got built first. So this is one of the best things you can do as a Zerg against a Void Ray opening. Yeah, you might lose an Overlord, a little bit of map vision because of the Void Ray, but you delay those spores, which allows you to squeeze out a lot more drones early on. So he's just drones, Overlords, drones, and Overlords. Oracle's now sliding in from there, though. The Void Ray pulled those queens out of position. Nicely done by Hero. Good spore trick so far. And he gets 2 drones. It's not too bad for either side. It's like 2 drones is very acceptable for an Oracle at the same time. Yeah, only took a little bit of damage, but could have been worse there for Reynor. Reynor is, of course, going to be thinking about those tech now. Roach Roar and Evo Chamber goes down. And it is indeed the second Stargate Fleet Beacon, but after a super quick third. So I thought the third would tell us it's not that build, guys. But now we see a super quick third into gases. These 2 gases being up this early is a huge tell. Reynor's not scouting, though. Reynor and Dark, I always talk as the top-level Zergs that don't scout. Serral scouts so much more than them. He needs to see those gases. You got to see those gases. If Reynor sees those gases, he'll be good. Let's go to Reynor's vision, guys. We're on Reynor's vision right now. He sees a gas on the third base. That's super early. It should tell him. He's going to take gases. Okay. Okay. He's got to go Spire. He's going for the rich gas base up front, but if he doesn't build spores at it, that's going to get sniped by the carriers real easy. How many queens we got? 7 queens. 7 queens. Yeah, if you bring a couple spores, you can definitely defend the carriers. But I wonder if it's dawned on him. Because like I said, I think Serral's a bit more methodical about paying attention to these scouting tells. I think Serral sees a gas finished and mining at 520. He's 100% like, bam, immediate Spire. We're going to have to see if Reynor has made that read or not. So let's take a look at Reynor's vision once again. The lair's about to finish. He'll be very aware of this. We should see a Spire start immediately. There we go. Yeah, he started the Spire in that main base, guys. He just popped that down. Okay, so he knows what's happening. And he should be able to counter it. If you scout this early on, then it's pretty nice. And this is why I think this build is great if it catches the opponent off guard. If it doesn't, it's been popular lately. I think this sort of build is amazing when your opponents don't scout it, number 1, or number 2, when they don't know how to deal with it, which is only going to happen when the build is out of the meta. But if it's on someone's radar, he's thinking about it, he sees the carriers coming across the map. Those spores should be moving forward right now. Queen's coming to the front, and then a wave of corruptors to deal with the carriers. And then he'll just be going mass roachling. Now, Dark tends to dumpster this build. And it's kind of funny saying that Dark does it. So what does Dark do? Dark doesn't overcomplicate the follow-up. Oh, the carriers aren't pushing? Okay, that's interesting. He's just going to break the rocks. So Hero's just going to say, okay, let's make sure you can't queen push me too easily. All right, let me finish my point about what Dark does. Dark basically says, you're going to overinvest in Corruptors to deal with my carriers. And then I'm just going to... and then you might try and overwhelm me with Blink Stalkers. But if I just max on Roaches, Lings, super basic units, I can just kill you. Because you've put so much money into those carriers. And what do you got? Either Blink or you've got some Zealot Archon. But if I hit you at a timing where you're like 140 supply, you're going to be screwed. If I let you get to 170, 180, that's when the Zerg becomes bad. If you let the Protoss play either add mass Blink or get up like Storm and a bunch of Immortals or whatever the next follow-up is, if they get enough ground out as well, the Zerg ends up maxed on Roach, Ling, Corruptor against a maxed out Protoss, which is terrible for Zerg. It's so bad for Zerg. So as the Zerg, you need to find the moment to trade with the Protoss. Remember the fundamental theory of PvZ. A lot of you probably don't know this if you haven't watched a lot of educational videos on StarCraft. But basically, Protoss units hard counter Zerg units. The problem is they take forever to build and they're very slow to get out, whereas the Zerg can hard switch their tech one way or the other. So right now, the Corruptors are hard countering the carriers, and he's still building carriers, but he's got a lot of cannon battery up. That'll help. He's trying to build Immortals. That'll help. Archons are going to come in, which are great versus Corruptors and Zerglings. They're not terrible versus Roach Ravager either. But you can tell Reynor, he senses that urgency. Remember what I said? You want to push when you're maxed. They're only 130, 140 supply. You don't want to let them get past that point. And Reynor's aware of this. He's like, Bane Speed's almost done. Roach Speed's almost done. I got to go. He knows he has to push soon. Otherwise, Hero's going to get enough supporting units on the ground, and you're going to start trading really badly. The supply cap is your enemy as a Zerg player. You've built a lower tier army, but you've got numbers. You have a 50 army supply advantage. You got to go right now. Reynor's going to do it. A few Archons. I think there's one Immortal in under there as well. There should be. No, the Immortal's trapped behind the wall. A bit of a mistake there. 4 Hero, more Archons coming in. Battery overcharge does activate. Oh, the Corruptor's trying to get in there. The Archons are getting blasted by Banelings. Those Archons need to pull back to the battery. Hero needs to pull those Archons back to the battery. The battery was very far back in this fight. Those carriers do go a little bit far forward. Nice Guardian Shield. But that battery, its overcharge kind of ran out here without getting that much healing. The Banelings rolling into the Archons. The numbers advantages here. If there's enough Corruptors to get rid of these carriers, that'll be good. The Void Ray and those Archons doing what they can. The Archons are now gone. There's only 2 carriers left. But with the Queens there, I think the Queens can still fight this. Here we go. The Queen's pulling back, trying to use that transfused Roachling coming forwards. Void Ray's now being built, but with so many Queens on the ground as well, it looks like this 4th base will go down. And Reynor found the timing. He traded when he needed to. Imagine if there was like 3 Immortals, 6 Archons, and a battery over here overcharged. That's a very different fight. That is a massively different fight. I do think the battery there, if he had another battery here and overcharged that, kept the cannon line up, kept the carrier Archon up at first, that could have been a very different way of that being played. +2 is going to finish here for Hero. Reynor never started +2 melee. You might think that's an oversight. It's not. It's a tactical choice. He's just saying, no, the upgrade will make me a little more efficient, but being a little more efficient doesn't matter versus Protoss. Because if you give them a few minutes, them having 10 Archons and Psystorm is going to be way scarier than you having an extra damage on your Zerglings and Banelings. It's all about finding the window to inflict damage, and Reynor has a very deep understanding of that. Observer spots the whole army coming forward. Unfortunately, Reynor doesn't have a bit of detection. The Spore Crawler's going to move forward and actually get rid of that Observer, which is cute. Dude, this wall of 11 Queens, this is such a big fat wall of meaty Queen booty. A couple Zealots do try to run in, but the Zerglings easily deal with that. There ain't no way you're getting through that wall of thick. I'm telling you, that's a wall of thick with 3 Cs. That is a heck of a lot of Queens right there. And they got so many transfusers for their sisters. Here we go. An Immortal comes forward. The Banelings kind of derping into it. That battery overcharge is a little bit better than the previous one, but the Banelings find it, shut it down. And those Corruptors. The Void Ray is actually doing very well. Reynor is focusing the carriers rather than the Void Rays. He changes targets now. Looks like the Corruptor count is getting whittled down. There's still a few Archons left on the north. Oh my god. Is Hero actually going to make this hold? It's so close. The Archons barely fall. Oh, okay, it looks like I think this is a good enough trade for Reynor. But dude, that was surprising how well Hero held on there. Because I thought after the previous fights, Hero was just going to get slowly wiped off the map. But he actually did really well. I imagine, oh man, if like maybe the battery overcharge is a little more protected or something, which you can see why he activated a battery in the back the first time. Having those batteries too far forward is always very scary. But man, he holds on, and the supply is dangerously close. If Hero can get the 4th up, it'd be good, but oh, he's gonna lose an Immortal. You don't want to lose that Immortal. Oh, the Immortal goes down. That was a mistake for Hero. A little bit lazy with his F2 micro there. You can see no control groups for Hero. He's clearly just F2ing his army back and forth. But he's got all these probes. This base will be instantly saturated when it comes up. He's trying to make more Archons, more Carriers, more Immortals. But guess what, guys? He needs to get rid of this creep. Clearing this creep is vital because right now, REYNOR is remaxing on very basic units. Ravages, Queens, still not making any extra upgrades. REYNOR is all in right now. If Hero holds here, this is an amazing, amazing hold. Like, it is actually incredible. 25 kills on a carrier, 9 on the other. The Archons don't have any kills, neither does that Immortal. Most of these units are fresh. This is their first fight. Same for the Zerg player. The Ravages and the Queens coming in. He's just going to try and take out the Nexus. He realizes, deny the Nexus and your income stays good. REYNOR's on 5 base. He's mining 700-800 minerals more a minute. Gets rid of some of these probes. He's forcing Hero back. And Hero, he can't afford to be giving that base up for long. His income's much lower. Look at this micro from REYNOR. Very nicely done. REYNOR still has urgency, but he's forced Hero to take the right. Hero's going to take that, take both gases immediately. Remember, Protoss is the one team that has a fantastic basic combat unit. In this matchup especially, not so much versus Terran, but the Archon. One could argue that's kind of the biggest weakness of Protoss in late game against Terran. Because against Zerg, no matter how much your mineral economy gets kind of down low and scrappy, you can still make Archons, and they're such a good just kind of general fighting unit. When EMP's in the mix, that's when the Archons, of course, don't look so good. Good cancels to dodge the Biles there. Nicely done. Void Ray going to chase that army off, but there are Corruptors out. 12 Corruptors out. It's going to be 13 Corruptors versus 4 Carriers, 2 Void Rays. That, to me, feels like a pretty good matchup for the Corruptors. They don't have any upgrades, though, whereas there is +1 air weapons for the Protoss. Both sides feeling like it's all about getting your army supply up right now. And you know what, guys? This time around, Hero's going to have a bigger army supply than their last fights. REYNOR just did a Spore trick cancel to build a few more Ravages, to morph 5 Ravages. He built 5 Spore Crawlers, morphed 5 Ravages, and then he went and canceled them. He's then gone and built some other buildings or lost some units on the right, so he's back to 203 supply. Good to see him using that oversupply trick. The Observer does spot his army coming in. Nice Biles. Going to depower the battery there. And Psystorm has not been made in this game. There's still a few High Templar because Hero is expecting Abducts. He's expecting Vipers. They're actually not existing. This is pure Lair Tech for REYNOR. REYNOR loves to stay Lair Tech in this matchup. I think he just got an Observer with those Corrosive Vials. Army starting to stray in. Zealots are going to find that base. That is a problem. Zealots coming in here on the left. Oh, a Carrier just died to Corrosive Vial. Oh, no. Hero losing a Carrier to Corrosive Vial. That you cannot afford. Hero has a better army than the previous fights. He shouldn't be losing this fight. I actually think he's got this. The Archons, if you can keep that Archon alive, it's going to be big. You cannot lose all your Archons. If you lose your Archons, then you can't fight off the Corruptors. You can't lose your Carriers here. Hero's winning the ground fight, but he's losing more air units than I think he should have. Despite that, he does win the fight, cleans up 11 drones on the rich gas base, and oh my god, I think Hero might have a 2-0, guys. He's got a 4th base mining. If he can make his way to a 5th base either over there, or if I were him, where's the Observer? He's got an Observer out right now, guys. He should definitely be bringing that Observer over, getting rid of this creep, retake the middle base, and that'd be amazing. He shouldn't be going to this base. It's too far away, because then that'll open up his natural, which he desperately needs to re-wall that natural. If he leaves his natural... Guys, I know Hero is known for leaving his door open, but that's a goddamn gaping abyss, that is. That's a goddamn gash and a half. Guys, some people out there have chasms for an entrance. This here is a chasm. I mean, I don't care how much of a zealot you are. That is a goddamn chode of an entrance. Please. Please. Hero, close that entrance, mate. Okay, he's going to try and take the middle base, cleaning up that creep finally. Dude, I'm really impressed. I thought REYNOR had this in the bag. You might think I'm cheering for Hero. I always cheer for the underdog, man. And I think I don't think he was the underdog before the series started. Oh, actually, he probably was. I do think REYNOR beats him more often than him. I'll have to check the head-to-head after this game. But I definitely think he was behind in this game after that 4th base went down at the start. Now he's adding Psystorm, Carriers, and I mean, REYNOR's just going to do another Lair Tech all in. But there's so many Void Rays now. 5 Void Rays? Not that many Carriers? Where'd the Observer go for... Oh, he sent his Observer off. He didn't finish clearing the creep right here, so there's still a launch pad right onto his base, which is definitely a big issue. His door is wide open. This would be a really dumb way to lose, is just to a giant Ling run by Hero. It wouldn't be your first time. Okay, there are 2 cannons, so the natural's reasonably secure. You don't really want to stop to fight those. A couple of Warpins in the main. You're going to need more than 2 Zealot Warpins. Oh, he's going to lose the Psystorm upgrade. He's going to lose the Psystorm, and the 4th base gets sniped because he didn't clear the creep. Void Rays are coming back, but he's going to lose Psystorm. Oh, Hero! Hero! You hot mess of a Protoss player. I love you so much, but oh my god, it hurts me. He leaves his door open. He loses his 5th base in the middle and his Psystorm upgrade. Oh, that was... If he got Psystorm, it's game over. If he gets Psystorm in this base up, he's completely winning the game. Like, it's game over in his favor. It's literally just like, what can... I mean, even now, he's got the better army. But why? It's just why give REYNOR these opportunities? REYNOR's still desperately trying to make a hive. He finally got +1 range. +2 air weapon starts here. But Protoss has +2 ground weapons. He's already up in the air upgrades. And now REYNOR's going to try to get +2 range and infestors. So basically, guys, REYNOR is trying to do what we call the dark comeback. The dark comeback is where you have no economy, no real chances in the game, but you're basically banking on landing fungal corrosive bile and killing your opponent's Skytoss army. Remember, he already killed 1 carrier with corrosive bile this game. And REYNOR's like, well, I don't have time to build back up to an 85, 90 drone economy, make double spire upgrades, make 10 infestors and vipers and spore crawlers everywhere. So we're just gonna make 50 ravages and hope that my opponent eats corrosive biles to the face. This is the long shot of long shots. The Zealot Archon is running far ahead. He's already taken out a few Zealots and Archons. The Corruptor's diving in. Oh, big fungal bile combo! The Void Rays get hammered! The Void Rays just got hammered by fungal bile! The Archons are spreading into a giant wall of ravages! REYNOR is destroying the army with fungal bile! What is going on? The Corruptor's coming from behind! Hero taking an atrocious fight! I cannot believe it! Hero took the worst possible fight there against that army. He ate massive, massive bile combos, walked into the Arc of Ravagers, and that was devastating. REYNOR with a very basic army basically needed one situation, which was Protoss A-moving on creep, and he managed to do it very well. The Corruptors came around the left. The fungal bile on the Void Rays was so important because those Void Rays were the biggest thing that could have stopped those Corruptors. The Archons and the Zealots went way too far ahead of the rest of the army. We need to go back and rewind that for a second before we get to game 3, guys. REYNOR keeps himself alive, but what a seesaw of a game. This is what I love about Heroes PvZ, guys, is he's so good. And he makes the game like come back even when he should have been dead. And then he throws it away. He's the master of hype. Little does he realize it, but he's the master of hype because he finds a way to throw his advantages away so often that you never know if he's going to win, make an epic comeback, or then will he throw the comeback away and then lose right after. So problem with this engagement is Zealot Archon is just going to run ahead of the rest of your army. With this army, you kind of need to engage Skytoss units first, and you need to keep pulling the Zealot Archon back. Remember, this is off the back of him sacrificing Psystorm, and he hasn't been upgrading his upgrades in quite a while, but he's got a very good force. Now, when you see Mass Ravager from your opponent, you should realize this Zerg has spent all their gas on Ravagers. Guys, name might think, well, what does that mean? That's 1,600 gas. That's the same as 16 Mutalisks. So if they're doing that, and they've got Corruptors, they can't really be affording Broodlords, or Lurkers, or double spire upgrades, and all that sort of stuff. So even though, yes, REYNOR's had more access to bases, he's actually, when you see these Ravagers, this should have been the tell for Hero to chill out and pull back, right? And basically make sure he takes the fight correctly, where the Void Ray carrier engages, and then the Zealot Archon comes in as REYNOR tries to engage the Void Ray carrier. And that's exactly how you're meant to do it. Now, to make devil's advocate, guys, Hero's army is pushing here so desperately because he knows REYNOR has 5 bases for a long time when he was on 3 bases, probably has a 6th base, and as far as Hero knows, he's like, yeah, he's got 90 drones. If I leave him too long, he's too far ahead because I've only just got my 4th up, my 5th got denied. Ah, man, I don't have anywhere for all my probes to mine. I got to push. He doesn't see this number. We see this 66 drones, and we know that REYNOR has like no continuation, very little follow-up. He's trickling out a few infestors and trying to just start his Great Aspire, but in Hero's mind, REYNOR has a much bigger, scarier economy, and he failed to recognize that Mass Ravager is a big tell that, wait a second, he probably doesn't have that big an economy. Otherwise, he wouldn't be building such desperate units. Now notice the Zealot Archon basically just gets kited down by the Roach Ravager. The Archons aren't really landing many hits at all. The Roaches and the Ravagers doing really good with the Biles. And then the Void Rays are way too clumped here. Remember when Classic fought REYNOR and he spread the Void Rays out across 2 screens before they went in? Instead, all the Void Rays are clumped, and as good as Void Rays are at beating Corruptors, they're always weak to Fungal and Parasitic Bomb, and a much rarer used combo, Fungal Bile here, actually got massive damage. And that was huge. That was absolutely astoundingly huge. So this was a big one. Imagine if there was some Psystorm in this fight, landing on the Corruptors, landing on the Ravagers, and or if Hero was a bit more careful with his engagement. But we saw Hero do this exact same sort of attack a bunch of times versus Dark at Gamers 8. Hero basically is in desperate need of some coaching staff at Dragon Kaiser Gaming, because I have seen Hero get ahead so many times in PvZ recently and then throw the game away, and he doesn't seem to understand why. He's naturally gifted, but he's clearly got some sort of mental block or blind spot when it comes to finishing the game in ZVP recently, where the moment he gets carriers, he throws the game away. Hero basically should either not build carriers, or he needs a lot of theory work on how to use those carriers to win the game, because this is such a... I've seen this too often lately. It's unacceptable. And go help him out. Coaching staff at Dragon Kaiser Gaming, get Classic in or someone else from a different team to coach him. He needs some help. All right, it looked like he had that one in the bag, but he must have been frustrated seeing how well Hero was defending on Neo-Humanity. Back on Zerg Heaven, though, it's altitude. I say Zerg Heaven, not necessarily. It is still a very big map, so it takes a while to get across it with your timings, but definitely more angles to be taken advantage of. Hero in the bottom left. I think this map, you want to make sure you're maybe thinking about multi-pronging a little bit more, and maybe even using drops or niduses in the back. The reason is because if, say, Hero takes this third and you only attack from here and here, I still do think he can use like the Nexus and this kind of choke point on the side and fall back through this area. And it's still very hard to engage. But if you come from both sides, 2 or 3 sides, you can definitely swarm over him. Oh, is this a 15 hatch 15 pool, guys? REYNOR going for the 15 hatch 15 pool. I don't think he's practiced this very much. So you can see his hatchery started 25 seconds ago. Yeah, very early hatchery, about 38 seconds. And it goes Overlord into spawning pool, as you meant to. So that's cool to see REYNOR starting to do this build. Unfortunately for him, Hero didn't scout. Hero didn't go to block him. So he would have been better off actually just doing a 16 hatchery in this scenario. But it's good to see that he, much like Serral, is picking up on that build. Now, Hero's going core before Nexus, guys, which means he's going to be chronoing 2 Adepts across the map and really trying to put the pressure on. And you know what? Your Ling speed's already delayed with this build that REYNOR's doing. So he's going to need to build about 12 Zerglings, if not 14, to deal with the 2 Adepts. So the reason is these Adepts are going to be about 20 seconds earlier than normal, 15 seconds earlier. So you're going to need 2 Queens out front trying to damage the Adepts, force the Shades out, and you're going to need a lot of Zerglings chasing the Shade into your main to try and cover it. But you need to realize what's happening as well. Otherwise, that could get a fair bit of damage. And if you end... Wait, it's Core first into Stalker first? Hero is such a special guy. Is this just to kill the Overlord? Maybe. I guess there's no pillar here on this map, is there? Oh, okay. This is all just to kill the Overlord, apparently. Seeing the gateway being chronoed is not that big of a tell. The Overlord's already heading back to the pillar. I think the Overlord survives. I think this is actually good for REYNOR. REYNOR was so safe with this. He knew that this was an option, even though this is like 1 in 10 games at most. I mean, this opening Hero is doing is probably more like 1 in 30 games. And he gets to the pillar. Great moves by REYNOR. Really well done. And now, guess what, guys? You know it's Stalker first, which means you don't need to build a single Zergling. So REYNOR's able to do just drone. He starts a 3rd hatchery, builds an Overlord immediately. Such a good opening for REYNOR. Really well done. Now, on the other hand, he doesn't actually get to confirm if it's Stargate or not. He did see no Warp Gate spinning, but does he believe it or not? It's hard to say. This is, of course, actually a Stargate opening, but when it's a Stalker first, it always could still be either Glaive Adapts or a Dark Templar opening, and it's going to be tough for REYNOR to figure out exactly which. Now, we're going to see... What? Okay, this is Hero's... This is not good at anything except misdirection. Going for a Phoenix first is just to kill the Overlord and go around and limit REYNOR's vision, and that's all Hero's goal is you don't know what I'm doing. You don't know what I'm going to do next. So he's literally like, let's just kill this as quickly as possible. And then you're going to be like maybe overthinking it a little bit while I just push your Overlords all back. Notice REYNOR already has to pull these Overlords back a little bit. Make sure they don't go too far out. He's already pulled that one back. This one he's pulling back. And then he's just going to play an Oracle opening into a 3rd base. So Hero is so good at just making it look weird. He just shows you these different little things. And it's so easy to overthink them. Great reaction by REYNOR, though. Doesn't lose anything to that Adept. This Phoenix comes forward, but the Queens are well positioned. Notice REYNOR. He's already got the Queens split into 2 control groups, just like he does in Zerg vs Terran. So sometimes you can outposition a Protoss player who's not as careful with that. This Adept does shade back towards the third. Second Oracle's on the way as well. We should be seeing that third and fourth gas, and then the tech going up in the main in the near future. So already got that pylon there, so we will not be supply blocked. Phoenix is ready to pick up a queen, which will allow the Oracle to fly in potentially and do damage, but 3 queens in each base equals no chance. Good pullback here, though, by Hero. Doesn't throw any units away. He's got a third Oracle, so a Phoenix into 3 Oracles. Oh me, oh my. Very interesting build. Let's look at Reynor's vision, though. He's kind of in the dark a little bit. He's starting to build some lings. His ling speed is finally finishing just before the 5-minute mark. He's a little blind. He doesn't know for sure what's going on. He didn't even see the third base timing, which to me is kind of crazy that he hasn't gone to check for that. Let's go back to everyone's camera here. Oracle's going to fly in the main base. That Spore, look at Reynor. He's selected the Spore Crawler. You might wonder, why did he select the Spore? It's because he wanted to make sure the way a hero would do that is his Phoenix would fly in first, so the Spore Crawler immediately starts shooting it, and then the Oracle start killing the drone. So Reynor was ready for the instant that came in to change the target onto the Oracle, the actual threatening unit with the Spore. So that level of high-level precision these guys have at the very top, that's amazing. Look how quickly he pulls back the drones, tries to bait them in with a drone, then he preemptively builds a Spore Crawler, cancels it, goes back to mining. Of course, building that Spore Crawler just to protect the drone. Very nice moves. 2 more Stargates on the way. Phoenix production and +1 air weapons. The Oracles are going to clear up this watchtower. Few Adepts coming forward as well. Gets a few Zerglings, 6 Zerglings, but does cost him some energy. And he's just trying to keep Reynor busy. Hero's whole job right now is basically to put his hands in Reynor's face, wave them around and go, hey, Oracles, Adepts, Oracles, Adepts, Oracles, Adepts. He needs to distract Reynor, because if Reynor realizes what's happening, keeps pumping queens, and then gets a Spire or a Hydra Den. Spire's optimal. You want to go Corruptors, usually versus Phoenix, I would say, because Hydras can get killed by Mass Phoenix until you get a critical mass. That's a problem. 3 Stargate Phoenix is crazy. It's going to be so hard for him to transition off the Phoenix, though, which is why I think Hero's going to play full Skytoss. So I think he's going to go Fleet Beacon in the near future, and probably try to play 4-base Skytoss behind it. It's either that or it's a Charge Archon transition. But if he wants to do that, he'll need a Twilight in the near future. Spire's already on the way right now for Reynor. Reynor has no vision, and yet he knows to build a Spire. I don't know if that's because he's just planning a Mutalisk swap, or he knows the sort of things that can come off this opening. But Reynor seems reasonably well prepared. Baneling Nest is on the way as well. Hero's there. He's got a forge. He's building cannons and batteries around. Battery in the natural as well. The Phoenix counts up to 8. I think it's go time for Hero. Is it? Maybe he's going to keep hiding it. You know what the real trick is as Hero? The ultimate gamble is you wait for him to build Mutalisks, especially if you've seen the Spire. Where is that? So the Spire's up there. He hasn't seen it. You hide the Phoenix till you have 20 Phoenix. He comes across with 10 Mutas. You kill them, and then you go. Obviously, he's not going to do that. He's going now. The Adept Oracle getting cleaned up. Reynor's trying to clear these rocks. Oh, Queen's in the open. Oh my god, he's baited the Queens forward. Oh no, Reynor. If Reynor loses these 5 Queens, that's a disaster. The Oracle's going a bit early and one of them dies. But oh me, oh my. The Queens are getting hammered. 5 Queens in the open. Such a good start for the Phoenix Hero. So annoying with his Oracle Adept. He lures the Queens into the open. And Reynor feels his heart sink. He says, okay, I've got a big economy. But oh god, how do I deal with these Phoenix now? I've only got 5 Queens. There's like 14 Phoenix on the map. The Queens are getting hammered. Doesn't even get a chance to land transfusers on that Queen. It goes down so fast. And these Overlords, that's the real threat right now. The Overlord's trying to get to the safety of the spores, but Reynor just has to hold the Overlord key down. He's going to be supply blocked for the next 5, 6, 7 minutes of this game, guys. I am exaggerating. 5, 6, 7 minutes is a bit longer than it actually will be, but look at how many Overlords are going down. Pretty much every Overlord going down, because you've already taken out the Queens. The spores are still building. This is massive, massive damage. Roachbane's going to come in. The sentries, though. Oh, the sentries so smart. The Oracle's turning on their laser beams. The cannons, the sentries gunning down the banelings. The roaches get pushed back. The Phoenix are going to come back just to clear up the roaches. And behind it, a Fleet Beacon and a Twilight Council is on the way. If Hero starts a 4th base here, probes that up while going Carrier Charge Archon, I don't think there's anything Reynor will be able to do for a long time other than turtle and hope he gets back into it in the long run. Hero is getting 4 more gateways, so he's going to go up to like 11. Is Hero's just going to make Phoenix range? He's just going to go mass Phoenix Zealot Archon. Screw carriers, he says. I've already got so many Phoenix. Let's just make the Phoenix better. Fair enough. You can't really hate on it. +2 air weapons is on the way. Templar Archive starts. He's just planning a mass 3-base timing. Is Hero. He wants to keep it simple. He doesn't want to risk the game going longer. And you know what I just said in that last game? The man doesn't know how to win with carriers. He just doesn't. Stick with Phoenix, make Zealot Archon, and go! Hit a faster timing. I love it. I really love the choices by him. Reynor's trying to get Infestors out. If he can land some big fungals in the middle of these Phoenix, he can maybe finally shut them down. You see that one Spore Crawler really doesn't scare those Phoenix away at all. You need like multiple Spores and Queens and everything else shooting them at once, and he's lacking that right now. There are 8 Queens on the map. He's going to need some Spores connecting his bases if he doesn't want to get those Queens taken out. And remember, this is, of course, the patch has not landed yet, guys, so Infestors pop out without that energy. You probably want to get 1 or 2 Vipers just to get Parasitic Bombs on these. So if you can get 1 or 2 Vipers, land Fungal Parasitic Bomb, you can deal with the Phoenix with that and your Queens. And then you just need Mass Roach to deal with the Zealot Archon. And he could make a hold like he did in that last game. It's very possible. The thing is, he doesn't really know if it's carriers or not behind this. He's trying to make a Great Aspire. He doesn't know what's happening. Oh, one of the Infestors does go down. Pretty good Fungal, but can you actually catch and kill these Phoenix is the question. He uses up 3 Fungals, plus the 4th Infestor died, of course. Does take out quite a few of these Phoenix, but there's still 11 Phoenix up. Gonna fly around the back. They see the Great Aspire. I mean, if you needed to convince Hero to pull the trigger at all, you've just done it by showing him that Great Aspire, I think. Second Robo Bay goes up. Oh, he's thinking about playing a longer game. Spore Crawler does manually target the weak Phoenix. Well done there by Reynor. Zealots running in the left side. That's a... What are we... Is this... Oh, that's definitely an F2. Oh, but he's just lured the Ravagers into the open. The Phoenix picking up those Ravagers. It's not that big an army just yet for Hero, but it doesn't need to be because the Phoenix reigns supreme. The Phoenix are so powerful here, man. He never got the Vipers out. The Phoenix are causing so many problems. Most of them are gone now. The Zealot Archon army stuttering back. Nice force fields to split off the Ravagers. The Warp Prism has not really been warping in on the front. And Hero here with a big hodgepodge of units. His supply is way down now, though. He's going Disruptors, though, off double Robo, soon to be pumping out those Disruptors, which do counter all of the units of Reynor. Reynor's got 90 workers. Reynor's up in supply. Holy crap, if Reynor comes back in this game, this would be crazy. But he's actually looking like the supply is getting to a decent spot. He's still got to hold on against this next wave. It's still a lot of Protoss. The Zealot flank coming in from the left, but they actually get aggroed onto the hatchery. Careful, that hatchery's under assault. The Roach Ravager's there. The Queens need to pull back here on the south. This army goes a bit far forward. They take out one of the Oracles, but you know what? Reynor's transfusing. His Roach Ravager cleaning up the Zealots on the top left. He's doing a great job, and he is actually up in income right now. Yes, he is. His 5th base trying to expand on the left. Nice Disruptor shots. A bunch of Roaches and Ravagers go down. The balls are here, but Hero, man, I think he took a long time to take this 4th base unnecessarily. He's now going Blink, making Disruptors. The question is, how does Reynor get this to late game? Does he's going Corruptors? Yeah, I think Broodlords make sense. I still think he needs something to deal with those Phoenix. Like a Viper or 2 would be amazing, because Vipers deals with the Phoenix, and of course they're great for late game against the Disruptors and maybe carriers and whatever else comes in later on. I do think Hero needs to get his movement going a little bit more, get some Zealot run-bys on the right, try to sneak a Prism in the main, because it feels like Reynor's, you know, just been stuck in his corner. He doesn't have a lot of map vision. He doesn't have a lot of awareness of what's going on out there. Maxed out army for Hero coming in. 4 Archons, 4 Disruptors. That's a scary blob. The Zealots themselves might not be too scary. As long as Hero pulls the Zealots back, though, I think they can do amazing. As long as they don't charge in front of the army like in that last game. Here we go. Watch out for the Bulls. Oh, Bull does take out a few of those units. Nice Fungals landing for Reynor. The Queens are just standing up front, but oh, the Bulls fly deep behind the Zerg line. Broodlords are finishing morphing barely, but he's lost most of his Queens, which means the Phoenix are even a problem for these Broodlords. Fungal coming forward. Nice Fungals, but he doesn't have any units behind it. He's building mostly Zerglings. He needs Roach production right now. I think he just needs Mass Roach to hang on, but man, with the Disruptors about to recharge, I don't know if even that can do it. Lings try to come in, but against 5 Archons and a pack of Zealots, there's no chance. More Stalkers coming in behind this as well as a general purpose unit. And Reynor fights hard from behind, but Hero gets in with the triple Stargate sneaky play. GG, well played. That was a brilliant game from Hero.